Welcome back, guys, to the Robot Master Weapons only run of Mega Man 1 for the NES. We are now getting ready to start the Fortress stages. Dr. Wily's worth 200,000 points. Nice. I kinda like that his spaceship looks different here in Mega Man 1. Since we just got Ice Slasher, we'll go ahead and use that throughout the first part of Wily Stage 1. I'd highly recommend using it even on a normal run. It's really good for getting by these big eyes since you can freeze them in midair and just run past them. You can also switch weapons after you've frozen the big eye and kill him if you want to, but that'd just be a waste of our weapon energy, of course. I like the music that plays here in Dr. Wily Stages 1 and 2. It's a pretty good song. We gotta use either Super Arm or Thunder Beam over here. We'll just go ahead and use Super Arm, give it some more screen time and save energy in Thunder Beam. Yeah, as you just seen back there, there's a pretty weird glitch that happens with Super Arm every now and then. Sometimes you'll pull a block out of a block. It's kinda strange. We'll go ahead and use Thunder Beam for the area up above us. Up here there will be some fleas that will sometimes jump right above the ladder and hit Mega Man. If they do that, just use Thunder Beam from the ladder and kill them before they can reach you. I'll go ahead and destroy at least one Super Arm block using Thunder Beam. We'll go and destroy the one up there. There we go. Missed out on a 1-up, but we don't really need it. We'll go ahead and use Ice Slasher, freeze this killer bullet, and then run for it. We got some more footholders in the area down below us. Hopefully they cooperate. I'd recommend trying to be quick throughout this area. While the footholders are still their annoying selves by making you glitch through them to your death and also flying in their own little paths, they can also impale you into the spikes that are up on the ceiling. So yeah, try to make your way through that area pretty quickly. We got a forced magnet beam area right here. I always liked the magnet beam. I always thought that is a pretty cool Mega Man adapter, and it's pretty fun to use. Plus, being able to create your own little platforms is a really nice and useful feature. And just like that, we are already at the boss of Dr. Wily Stage 1. The boss of this stage is the Yellow Devil, which, just like any other devil boss in the entire classic series, once you've memorized the pattern that the blocks come in and move around at, then they're nothing at all. Perhaps the most popular method of fighting the Yellow Devil is by using the pause trick. The pause trick is where you wait for the Yellow Devil to completely form himself and reveal his eye, then shoot a Thunder Beam and then keep pressing the select button over and over and over again. The select button lets you do an on-screen pause in this game, which also holds the Thunder Beam in place. But it won't stop the enemy's invincibility frames, therefore you can keep pressing the select button over and over and over again, thus holding the Thunder Beam on the Yellow Devil's weak point and continually damaging him. That's no fun though, in my opinion. Really about the only thing that you need to learn with the Yellow Devil is the pattern that the two bottom rows of blocks come out in, since those are the only two rows that you actually need to dodge. All the other rows will just go right up and above your head. Other than that, you just need to dodge his shot and hit his eye whenever he reveals it. So like I said, he's not too bad. He's just like any other devil boss in the entire classic series. Once you learn the pattern of the blocks, he's not really much at all. He is pretty fast though, I'll give him that. It always kind of looked like they took the sprite of the power-up that the enemies dropped that give you extra points and used it for the Yellow Devil's eye here. They look pretty much the same. No worries though. And just like that, the Yellow Devil is now down and out, and that is it for Dr. Wily Stage 1. I like how the Yellow Devil's ghost stays around even after you defeated him. It's kind of like he's saying, "I'll be back." Or in his case, it'd be, "Boomo, boomo, 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 boomo!" Or something like that. Here we are in Dr. Wily Stage 2 now. We'll just use the Thunder Beam throughout this area. Throughout this stage, we'll have rematches against Cutman and Electman. One thing that's kind of interesting about the Thunder Beam is that whenever you shoot it at some enemies, it'll actually shatter the Thunder Beam. There aren't many enemies that do it, but Cutman is actually one of them. Strangely enough, only the frontal beam will be shattered. So if you hit an enemy that shatters the Thunder Beam with the top or bottom beams, it will shatter the frontal beam still for some reason or another. The tiny fragments of the shattered Thunder Beam can still hurt other enemies if they happen to be around. I'd recommend just using Firestorm against Cutman in the rematch since you don't have any Super Arm blocks to throw at him. It does pretty good, same damage as the Mega Buster on him, does 3 damage, so 10 hits will take him out. At the end of this area, we'll be fighting Electman, so yeah, you basically go straight from Cutman to Electman, very little break in between the two of them. We'll be fighting the rest of the Robot Masters in the final stage. If you want that weapon energy, you gotta jump across that invisible pit. Go ahead and get Rolling Cutter ready. Just like that, we are now at Elect Man. Take him out as you did earlier. 3 hits from Rolling Cutter will do him in. You can kill him with at least 2. Assuming that the blade hits him on its way back, of course. We'll just leave Rolling Cutter equipped throughout this area. There aren't any enemies for us to really kill, just dodge all these bombs exploding everywhere. I'm not going to worry about grabbing the weapon energy. There isn't enough there to make it worthwhile, in my opinion. Use Rolling Cutter here. We'll go ahead and use a Hyper Bomb down here to take out these 2 Susies. Just wait for the bottom Susie to come up here and then chuck one down. There we go. We'll use a variety of weapons throughout here. We'll go ahead and use Thunder Beam to take out these Susies. Just wait for them to line up and take them all out with one shot. We'll go ahead and use Rolling Cutter again to take out these Susies down here. It does a good job of that. We'll go ahead and use Thunder Beam again in this area. I love lining myself up with these 4 wall cannons and using 1 Thunder Beam to kill them all and then collecting my goodies. That's just so satisfying for some reason. I love doing that. We're not too much further from the boss of this stage. We only got 1 more screen to go through. We'll just use Rolling Cutter to take out the enemies down here. There we go. Wait for that cannon to shoot. Kill that Susie and then kill the wall cannon, and just like that, we are now at the boss of Dr. Wily Stage 2. I really like the boss of this stage. It's one of my favorite fortress bosses in the entire Classic series. The boss of this stage is Mega Man. He'll use all the same weapons that you do. Whatever weapon you have equipped, he'll equip as well. Hyper Bomb is definitely not the best weapon to fight him with, but hey, I want to give Hyper Bomb a little bit of screen time. Plus, it's a fun way to battle Mega Man. One thing that I think is kind of funny about this battle is that if you use Super Arm or the Magnet Beam, the copy Mega Man won't shoot at you at all, because he doesn't have anything to shoot at you. Still kind of interesting. The weapon that I would actually recommend using on the copy Mega Man is Firestorm. Every time you shoot at the copy Mega Man, he'll either jump towards you or away from you, which is another reason why Firestorm is a good weapon to use against him. It not only gives you a long-range projectile to hit him with if he jumps away from you, but it also makes a smoke shield that'll also hit him if he jumps at you. So overall, I would definitely recommend using Firestorm on the copy Mega Man. It does some pretty good damage on him too, 2 bars per hit. So that's also nice. I also really like the background that goes on in this fight, all the different colors that you see on it. That's pretty cool as well. Just like that, Dr. Wily Stage 2 is now down and out. Next up is Dr. Wily Stage 3. Dr. Wily Stage 3 is a really short stage, definitely the shortest fortress stage here in Mega Man 1. We'll go ahead and use Rolling Cutter some, give it some more screen time. I was never really a big fan of the Dr. Wily Stage 3 and 4 music here in Mega Man 1. I mean, it's not a really bad song or anything, but I definitely like the Wily Stage 1 and 2 music more. They're both pretty good, though. We'll go ahead and use Thunder Beam to take out the enemies down here. Use it to attack the screwdrivers from above. There we go. I really like this next area that we're going to right here. It may just seem like a long tunnel at first, but eventually water will flood it and it'll speed you up really quickly, as you just seen. My favorite part about this area, besides going really fast, is hurtling over the enemies. I just find that so fun. I don't know why. You'll want to use Super Arm on this boss at first. They provide you with 4 blocks to throw at the boss. After you've used all those Super Arm blocks, you're going to want to switch to Thunder Beam to fight this boss with. You'll want to slow yourself down as you get to the door at the end of this area, then time your jump over the killer bullet and go through. Normally I'd recommend saving the Super Arm blocks for the last 4 bubbles in this boss battle, since those 4 move the fastest. But you're going to be using Thunder Beam in this battle as well, and you don't want to accidentally zap one of your Super Arm blocks away. So I'd recommend going ahead and using the 4 Super Arm blocks they provide for you. After that, use Thunder Beam. Whatever direction the bubble's moving in, try to shoot the Thunder Beam to go with that bubble, because the Thunder Beam will go at roughly the same speed, and therefore it can score multiple damage on it. Not to mention you can hit it whenever it's on the ceiling as well. Usually it takes about 4 hits to take out each of the bubbles using Thunder Beam. Sometimes it'll take a little less than that though. I love how at the end of this battle it has no explosion or anything, it's just instant victory music. I love that. Next up is Dr. Wily Stage 4, which is the final stage here in Mega Man 1. In this stage we gotta fight 4 out of 6 of the Robot Masters, the remaining 4 that we haven't had a rematch against. And after them is Dr. Wily, all in one big boss gauntlet with no health in between the bosses to heal you, so try to make sure that you don't take much damage. There will be a power-up right before the boss rematches that you can collect, and it'll recover all your health and weapon energy. We won't be collecting that though because we're doing just fine. We'll go ahead and use Super Arm over here. You can also use Thunder Beam to destroy the top block easier. But hey, I want to use Super Arm, give it some screen time. And there we go. Give that weapon energy to Thunder Beam. We'll just use Thunder Beam throughout this area. I always found it pretty interesting that Dr. Wily has a big hallway filled with Gutsmen. Not to mention Dr. Wily brings Gutsman back a lot of times throughout the classic series. Wonder what his fascination with Gutsman is anyway. I like Gutsman, but just kind of odd that Dr. Wily favors him so much. We got a jump that's pretty tricky to make over here to the right. We have to wait on the rail platform to come back over here and meet up with us. Whenever you get on the rail platform, watch the ball that's actually on the rail itself. Whenever it gets near the part of the rail that's broken, get ready to jump. You'll want to get on the edge of this, jump onto this block, and then get on the edge of that and jump back onto the lift. And just like that, we are now at the boss rematches. First up is Bomb Man. Just fight him like you did before. Stay close and he won't never throw any of his hyper bombs. If you run out of weapon energy in Firestorm, just use Thunder Beam or Rolling Cutter, either one. That'll take out Bomb Man just fine. Next up will be Fireman. Just use the Ice Slasher on him. I kinda like the idea of having a big boss gauntlet right before the final boss of the game. Although I kinda wish Cutman and Electman could have been included in the final boss gauntlet instead of being in the second stage, but hey, that's alright. I enjoy it the way they did it. Overall though, I think I'd prefer the 8 capsule room style of Robot Master rematches. Just run back to the teleporter before the Ice Slashers can get you here. And last but not least in the Robot Master Gauntlet is Gutsman. Just use Hyper Bombs on him, jump before he lands so you don't get stunned. I think that it kind of looks weird that Gutsman is throwing the Fortress stage blocks. I mean, it fits the Fortress stages and all, but it just kind of looks weird whenever Gutsman catches him. The boulders definitely fit Gutsman's look a little bit better. Next up will be Dr. Wily. We got 2 forms to go through. Dr. Wily's first form is weak to the Firestorm, so give this weapon energy to that. I like how Dr. Wily's spaceship actually fuses with his big machine in this game. It's kind of like the spaceship is connecting to the big machine, then Dr. Wily's dropping down into the cockpit to fight Mega Man. And I think that that's pretty cool. Just stay close to the frontal cannon here and let the smoke shield do additional damage and you'll take out the first form really quickly. For the second form, just trick his shots into going above you, which isn't too hard to do. I'd recommend using Rolling Cutter here on the final form of Wily. It hits him 3 times whenever he's moving away from you. It'll only hit him twice whenever he's coming towards you though. Still, the fact that it hits him 3 times whenever he's moving away from you makes this the best weapon to use on him, in my opinion. You just got one more hit on him. And there we go. Dr. Wily's now down and out, and it's time to check out the ending. Dr. Wily's begging Mega Man for mercy for the first time in Mega Man history right here. I kinda like Mega Man 1's ending. I like seeing the sunset in the background. I also like seeing Mega Man change from Mega Man into Rock as he enters the city and meets back up with Light and Roll back at home. It's got a pretty good ending, I think. It also has one of the most classic video game quotes in it as well. Fight Mega Man for everlasting peace. I'm not really sure where I'd rate Mega Man 1's weapon set among all the other weapon sets throughout the entire classic series. I think that it rates pretty high though. It may only have 6 weapons in it, but 2 out of those 6 are 2 of the best weapons in the entire classic series, Thunder Beam and Firestorm. Rolling Cutter may not be one of the best weapons in the entire classic series, but it's definitely an above average one and a really good weapon in itself. Ice Slasher is a really awesome utility weapon. Who needs attack power whenever you can just freeze the enemies and kill them with whatever you want? Plus it's really energy efficient, only 1 bar weapon energy per use. Super Arm is a really fun weapon to use. I enjoy using it, but the fact is that it's just too situational to be truly useful. If you didn't have to be supplied with its ammunition throughout the stage, then it would be a much better weapon. But as it stands, it's more of a fun weapon than a really super useful one. Whenever you can use it though, it is a really good one to have around. It is really powerful, and I enjoy using it. Hyper Bomb is another really situational weapon. It may be really powerful and the explosion may be pretty big, but the fact is that it takes way too long to explode, making it only really useful on enemies that are clumped together in groups and can't move very far, or enemies that just sit still. I think it's one of the worst weapons in the entire classic series, but I still try to use it some. And well, this now concludes our Robot Master Weapons Only run of Mega Man 1 for the NES. I hope you all enjoyed watching it and you all know the drill. Comment and subscribe and all that. And well, thank you for watching.